Brazil, one of the most unequal countries in the world. A nation where the future of most children is decided based on where they were born and the color of their skin. Public education, which should be the main factor in equalizing inequalities, often reproduces and even increases these disadvantages. Schools located in underprivileged areas have lower educational results than those located in more favored zones. Likewise, students from historically marginalized groups have lower learning levels than their classmates. Many of these inequalities are generated by very concrete obstacles, such as the difficulty of accessing early childhood education for those living in rural areas or in the outskirts of large urban centers, or the poor distribution of resources, which means that schools in these regions have more precarious infrastructure and less prepared teachers. However, a significant part of these disparities are generated by subjective obstacles, such as low expectations regarding Black students or the belief that children from poor families do not have the capacity to learn. Many of these beliefs contribute to justify the low levels of learning in some education systems, making children and their context responsible for their school failure and taking responsibility away from those whose mission is to guarantee their right to a quality education. Well-intentioned government officials, specialists, and social activists seek to reverse this reality, but the situation has been exacerbated in recent times by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which kept Brazilian schools closed for almost 2 years. During this period, students from different socioeconomic and racial backgrounds had different levels of access to technology and family support, which widened the learning gap between them. In 2021, I accepted the challenge of leading the creation of the Lemann Centre, a non-partisan and non-profit organization that seeks to raise levels of quality and equity in Brazilian public education by training educational leaders and producing research to support these leaders to make good decisions and implement effective policies and programs. Our work is inspired by the experience of Sobral, a municipality with few financial resources but broad political commitment, which manages to teach all its children to read and write at the right age, regardless of their race, gender, location, or socioeconomic background. We focus on training leaders precisely because we understand that they occupy a privileged and essential position for promoting the systemic change that their schools need. We are talking about heads of education departments, school supervisors, and school principals, ultimately responsible for assuming political commitments, establishing and pursuing assertive goals, creating the conditions so that all teachers can teach well and all students can learn with no one left behind. Our challenge is enormous as our country, which has nearly 50 million students enrolled in nearly 200,000 public schools spread across nearly 5,570 municipalities. To carry out this mission, we had to create a broad learning ecosystem that brings together different actors and organizations around this common goal. We engage governors and mayors to prioritize education. We mobilize and train the educational leaders in their municipalities and states to orchestrate an effective system change. We involve researchers to contribute to the production and dissemination of data, solutions, and evidence to guide the work. We bring together different technical partners and investors to ensure the excellence, sustainability, and scale of the initiatives we carry out. We support opinion leaders to advocate for the cause of equity in education. Promoting collective efforts, it's not trivial and requires a lot of commitment and to identify common interests, embrace differences, respect different rhythms and approaches. To do so, we focus on foundational principles such as shared leadership, sense of urgency, and resilience, which keeps us from giving up. We are currently training more than 3,000 leaders in 66 municipalities in the 5 regions of Brazil and have been developing new training programs and formats to expand our impact and reach out to at least 2/3 of Brazilian public schools over the next 10 years. For this, We also invest in expanding our capacity by expanding our learning ecosystem, which has allowed us to fly higher and collaborate with other countries in the Global South, such as Kenya and Pakistan. Each one of you is also welcome to join us. In our ecosystem, everyone teaches and learns, and this joint learning allows us to dream and achieve what would not have been possible before. Come fly with us on the wings of equity so that we can allow each and every student in the Global South to fly higher too.